Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Midgard Golf. And we're out here today in Hood River, Oregon, just a little outside of where my mother and stepfather live here, playing a sneaky difficult course here, Indian Creek, out there in Hood River. Yeah, actually pretty short course. It only tips out at 6,224 yards, and we're playing it from the whites at 5566. Playing out here today with my stepdad Tim and my uncle Glenn Bob, though I'm just filming myself today. But yeah, with all of the turns and the tight fairways and a lot of blind shots in very weird places on this course, that's for sure. It sort of makes it into a challenging track, no doubt. So, anyway, if you're liking this content, throw us a like and subscribe. We've got a whole lot more great content coming your way this year. I just got done filming a whole bunch of content in St. George and Mesquite, Nevada. And yeah, a bunch of those tracks are coming up very soon, as well as both courses from Flying Horse out here in Colorado Springs. That'll be the next video series. So it'll be pretty cool. So, like I said, we're playing from the white tees. That's 2 up, and this first hole here, we're playing at 375 yards, little par 4, and the number 3 handicap on this course. So starting off pretty strong, no doubt. But the hole shape itself here, so it's kind of straight away right off the bat, and then it kind of dogs a little bit to the right as you approach the green up there. So long drives will reach the turn, but if you don't, then you're probably going to end up with a shot over the fence to try to get on in 2. That'll be off to the right-hand side. Left-hand side, you're going to have some tree trouble, but you should still have an angle onto the green, albeit you'll have a nice long shot from there as well. No bunkers to speak of up on the green side, so that's nice, and the green's wide enough to be considered inviting, I'd say, but it's on a bit of a volcano, so you kind of have that to contend with. So, without further ado, let's give it a rip and see what we can do on this first hole out here at Indian Creek. Let's check it out. All right, ladies and gents, and here we are off to the second hole. Another par 4 for us here, but this one considerably shorter, playing for us at only 319 yards and tipping out at 334. And by the way, number 1 there, I didn't mention what it tips out at. That number 1 tips out at 411, so pretty strong par 4 for number 1 there. But this one tips out at just 334. And the number 13 handicap on the course. So, yeah. Starts you off kind of wicked with the number 3, and then sort of relaxes for a couple holes here with some double-digit handicap holes. So that's quite nice. And yeah, I hope you're enjoying these jaunts between holes here. A couple of them have kind of lengthy drives, which kind of leads me to say that I don't know that I would say that walking this course would be all that fun. You'd certainly have some long treks here and there that might slow up your pace of play or cause you to have to be really hoofing it in order to keep up with pace of play. So there's that. Apart from that, there's some undulation in it, but not as much as I'd say you'd need in order to say it's entirely unwalkable. It'll just be a long walk. But maybe that's time for you to think about, the next hole, or maybe forget about the previous hole in order to center yourself to, play the next. So, anyway, this hole here, kind of a blind shot right off the rip here. It's going to dog a little bit to the right as well here, and it's going to go downhill most of the way. You've got some immediate water trouble off to the right, shouldn't be a problem for most golfers out there. But then when you get down there by the green, there's another lake behind the green as well. So, yeah, you've got that to worry about as well. And as, of course, you're going to be having a downhill shot onto that green, it's probably going to be pretty easy to accidentally go long, so be leery of that. Take a short club, make sure you stay short. Maybe try to step on it a little bit, something you know for sure you're not going off the back of that green with. Otherwise, you might be drinking. So, I'm just taking a little iron at this here, a little 4-iron. I'm going to try to hit a little cut and cozy myself down there on this slope somewhere, as I've never played this course before, so I had no idea what's down there waiting for me. Just trying to play it marginally safe. So let's give it a rip and see what we can do. All right, ladies and gents, and here we are heading off to the third hole. Another short par 4, even shorter still this time than the last, playing for us at only 278 yards and tipping out at only 291, so considerably short there for most people. And playing as the number 11 handicap on this course. You might be saying to yourself, well, if the last one was number 13 handicap and this one's number 11, what makes this hole more challenging than the last when it's that short? Well, the yardage kind of suggests that this hole is drivable, but the tree blockage that you've got off to the left kind of suggests that it's not. So, unless you can hit just this big old, 100-yard draw and make that distance at the same time and carry that whole way with that big old draw, yeah, you're not driving this green. So, yeah, I really wouldn't consider that. But that said, so, yeah, dogleg left here, and the hole slopes from right to left, and, it goes downhill for a little bit. Well, it kind of goes uphill right off the tee box and then back downhill and then uphill again onto the green. So, very undulating hole. heavy tree trouble off to the right side. And of course, a little bit of trees off to the left. And if you miss really, really hard to the left and just absolutely snap hook it, there is a lake way out there to the left as well as you approach the green. Apart from that, there's no bunker trouble up next to the green. However, a big hitter there who is trying to hit that green. Take heed because the fairway slivers up a lot as you approach the green down there. And if you end up hitting it too long and get that curve to the left, you may just end up in the incredibly tall grass, big old wasteland that's kind of in the lower valley section there right before the green anyway. So a whole lot of losing proposition places to try to pull off a hero drive here. I just really wouldn't do it. I would just iron this hole to death if I was you and try to get up and down for a birdie if you can hit a draw and get yourself close for a nice easy chip shot up onto the green. So let's give it a rip and see what we can do. All right, ladies and gents, and here we are heading off to the fourth hole. Marginally short par 5 here, only 449 yards from our tee box and tipping out at 517. And it looks like the backs and the blacks, which is one up on this course, are the same number. So, no matter what, if you're not playing the whites, then you're playing the tips. And this is the number 1 handicap on this course. And I think that's pretty well earned. A very hard dogleg right you've got in front of you here. And, I mean, obviously you can see it, a ton of trees off to the right side that you will absolutely lose your ball in if you happen to snap those in there. Incredibly thick. However, hitting one off to the left side on this left to right sloping fairway will render you a much longer shot onto this green to try to get home in 2. So it's kind of like, well, do you play the fade and go risky and just try to make that turn and set yourself somewhere up in order to have a short shot onto the green? Or do you play it safe and kind of hit a draw over there and, bank it against that left sideboard and stay safe? Kind of your call. So, but if you do play that fade and you fade it too hard with the slope of the fairway, you could find yourself up in those trees even with a well-shaped fade, I'd say. So once you get up there past the turn to start looking at your green approach, you'll have more sideboard support off to the left, and then the green itself is nice and kind of the flat plateau there, and the slopes off hard to the right as well, off to the right side of the green, that is, and off the back. That's also a pretty steep slope. So anything that misses long or right when you're approaching that green is going to render a pretty serious flop shot is a requirement, I'll say, in order to get up on that green. Anything missed to the left or short, well, short's just fine for your second shot onto the green. You're just going to be, probably putt off that fairway, honestly. But anything missed left, is going to give you a downhill chip to try to get up on that green, so, and stick it that way. So, I mean, pick your poison for what you want to do. So without further ado, I mean, pretty much all I'm doing is hitting fades right now, so I'm just going to take way to the left line and hit my fade anyway and see if I can hit far enough to make this turn. So let's give it a rip and see what we can do. Alright, ladies and gents, and here we are heading off to the fifth hole. And just a little par 3 for us here today. Playing for us at only 141 yards and tipping out at 178. And as it stands, it's the number 9 handicap on this course. So, yeah, I think it's pretty fair to Midland, that's for sure. So, not a whole lot to worry about on this hole here, except for like the little kind of creek that's running all the way down there at the bottom and kind of provides a little bit of force clearance. But apart from that, I mean, there's nothing. You got no bunker trouble anywhere. And yeah, just don't miss hard to the right and you're going to be okay no matter what you do. I would say, though, that the preferred miss here is definitely either going to be left or long, as you've got plenty of sideboard support that way or backboard support behind it. If you get hung up there in the back, though, of course, that's going to be an awkward downhill chip and a very steep one at that. But apart from that, just not a whole lot to worry about. I mean, grab up the club that's the number and whack it. And it's playing quite a ways downhill there. I think for us it was, I lasered it, it was only playing like 125 or something like that with how far downhill that is. So, not a big deal. So I've got the 52 in hand. Let's see if we can send it up in the air and stab this green. Let's check it out. All right, ladies and gents, and here we are heading off to the 6th hole. Just a little 326-yard par 4 for us today, tipping out at 375, and the number 15 handicap on the course, and I think that's pretty accurate. One of the flattest holes that we've come across so far since the number 1. And playing straight back to the clubhouse, so if you're really jonesing for a nice cool beverage or to hit the head, as it were, then you'll have an opportunity right here, kind of early, before the turn. And the 9th hole will also come back to the clubhouse, so you'll have another opportunity then as well. So this hole here, I mean, the trees left and right are pretty much all you have to worry about. Apart from that, I mean, there's just not much. You've got a pair of bunkers as you approach the green up to the right, and then one lone bunker off to the left. And outside of that, it's a pretty stock standard hole, so just grip it and rip it. And play footloose and fancy free for this one, I'd say. So I got the driver in hand. I'm just going to hit a big old cut right over the left side and try to drop it somewhere up in this fairway. So let's give it a rip and see what we can do. All right, ladies and gents, and here we are heading off to the 7th hole. A nice short par 4 for us here, only 280 yards for us, and only tipping out at 303. And it's the number 17 handicap on this course. I think that's pretty accurate, I'd say. So, yeah, I mean, there's nothing really to it here. It's straight away. You've got the nets for the driving range pretty much all the way down on the left side. So if you snap hook one, you're probably just going to hit the net and then stay in bounds anyway. But then you've got the tree line off to the right. So, yeah, I mean, either way, you're likely going to be in the trees just because you've got trees on both sides if you happen to snap one or slice one. But, I mean, apart from that, fat chance you're losing a ball on this hole with adjacent fairway off to the right as well. Once you get up there, you've got one lone bunker off to the right side of the green that cants a little bit to the right for just kind of a slightest hint of a dog leg right before the green, but for all intents and purposes, it's just a pretty straightaway hole. Pretty flat. So, outside of that, I got a driver in hand. Of course, I'm just going to try to, pipe one down there, hit a little baby cut like I do, and see if I can't stab this green in two. So, let's give it a rip and see what we can do. All right, ladies and gents, and here we are heading off to the 8th hole. Just a little par 3 for us here, playing for us at 186 yards and tipping out at 242 yards. So plays pretty long from the tips there, that's for sure. And that's the number 7 handicap on the course. Yeah, I think that's pretty right. Yeah, but that said, it's also exceptionally downhill. So with all that yardage there, it's playing a lot less regardless of which tee box you happen to be playing from. And really the only thing that you have to worry about is not going right. You have the entire world to miss out there to the left. So if you're hitting fades like I'm doing right now, for God's sake, just aim out left and cut it in, right? So not a big deal. Just make darn sure that you stay off that right side and you're going to be okay. And especially with all the sideboard support offered off to the left-hand side, if you do happen to hit it over there and you're anywhere close to the green, fair chance that it's going to bounce off the hill anyway, especially with a fade shape, and you'll be on the green anyhow. So yeah, that's just good play there. Obviously, if you're hitting a draw, then happy days. No worries for you whatsoever. Yeah, so far as long and short is concerned, I would definitely recommend missing short rather than long, since long is probably going to wind you up in Sherwood Forest back there, hacking away at the bushes with your machete trying to find your ball. So anyway, I have the 8-iron in hand. Let's give it a rip and see what we can do. Let's check it out. All right, ladies and gents, and here we are heading up to the 9th hole, the number 5 handicap on this course, and coincidentally, a par 5. How about that? So playing for us at 510 yards and tipping out at 543, and just like the last par 5, the one-ups are also 543, so regardless of what tee box you're playing in your particular round, if you're playing further back than the whites, then you are playing the tips, no doubt. So this hole, not what I like to see for how I'm hitting the ball right now. Hard dogleg left and uphill the whole way. So probably, playing closer to like 560, 570 for us, and safely over 600 for the tips up there. So yeah. Anyway, there's that. So, the hole itself here, obviously you've got some forced clearance right in front of you. Down that hill there is the cart path that you drive up to get here, which is actually kind of neato, I thought. And apart from that, you've got adjacent fairway off to the left, complete and utter abyss off to the right, and, heavy forest. So, yeah, you really don't want to miss hard right here. You've got a little bit of reprieve in terms of rough over there to catch your ball if you miss the fairway just a little bit to the right, but you really don't want to miss that way very hard, especially since the fairway slants from left to right as well. So if you can pull off a draw, then you're in hog heaven. That's exactly what you're going to want here, no doubt. And then once you actually make it to the dog leg, it's going to be a little more drastically uphill to get to the green. It's kind of up there on a volcano for you. So yeah, that's something. So yeah, but apart from that, not a whole lot to worry about. Once you get up green side, you've got 2 bunkers off to the right, and that's pretty much it. And of course, this will bring you right back to the clubhouse again. And this will be the last time that you see the clubhouse until you finish your round. So if you're stocking up on anything, definitely do it right now after this hole. And also, something that you should do after this hole or before it is throw us a like and subscribe. So, yeah, you know we love your company, and we've got some great content coming your way and more giveaways coming as well the more subscribers we get. At 300, of course, I'm giving away another hat, and I'll do so again until I get to 1,000, for every 100 subscribers thereafter, at which point I'm thinking I'm going to do shirts, and then once we hit 10,000, I'm thinking I'm going to give away golf bags, like some really good ones, like some Vessel bags or Ghost Golf. I haven't decided yet which company I want to go with, but I'm kind of down to one of those 2 brands. So beautiful bags. I got a Vessel myself now. I just love it. It's awesome. And forgive the couple of shots on this hole where I didn't line up the camera exactly right and the ball is kind of out of frame. I hate doing that. I hate it when that happens, but yeah, I don't know what happened if I just didn't lock the camera in place well enough. But anyway, apologize in advance for that. So without further ado, let's give it a rip and see what we can do on this last par 5. Join us next time for the back 9 on this gorgeous course out here at Indian Creek in Hood River, Oregon. And until then, as always, have a great day.